Today's hymn is the story of two women born probably about 10 years apart, different cities, likely never even knew each other, and yet they combined to write the hymn, Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus. The first woman is Lilias Trotter. She was an English child born in the early 1800s, I guess maybe mid 1800s. She was an extremely talented artist and writer, and as a matter of fact, it was said of her art that if she would devote herself to her art, she could have been the greatest living painter, and she could have done things that would be immortal. However, she determined to devote herself to the Lord and to his kingdom, and so eventually, despite even her poor health, she chose the life of a missionary to Algeria. And it was there that she filled journals upon journals with her writings. Now, her writings were often printed on cards or small pamphlets along with some of her artwork. And it was one of these pamphlets entitled Focused, A Story and a Song, that caught the eye of Helen Lemmel. Now, I say the eye. Helen was blind, but the pamphlet that Trotter wrote was so descriptive. It was based on a dandelion. And she wrote this. It was just a dandelion and half withered, but it was full face to the sun and had caught in its heart all the glory it could hold and was shining so radiantly that the dew that lay on it still made a perfect aureole around its head. And it seemed to talk, standing there, to talk about the possibility of making the very best lives of ours. For if the Sun of Righteousness has risen upon our hearts, there's an ocean of grace and love and power lying all around us. An ocean to which all earthly light is but a drop. And it's ready to transfigure us as the sunshine transfigured the dandelion. And on the same condition that we stand full-faced to God. Well, it was these words that Helen Lemmel, a blind woman, was inspired to write the hymn we know today as Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus. Now, I said that she is a blind woman. It's interesting because she never saw a dandelion. She never saw the sun. She never saw the yellow flowers full face or the dew that was on it. She never saw the purple stem. Anything about that scene that Trotter described. Liz had never seen any of it. Everything she knew about that dandelion, she imagined in her head. She heard it all from Lilias Trotter. Now, just to be fair, Helen's acumen as a musician matched that of Trotter's talents as an artist. As a matter of fact, Helen wrote more than 500 hymns herself and eventually taught music at both Moody Bible Institute and the Bible Institute of Los Angeles, which is, of course, now Biola University. She directed a women's chorale for the Billy Sunday campaigns. But it was in 1918 that she was inspired by Trotter's pamphlet, and as she writes, suddenly, as if commanded to stop and listen, I stood still. And singing in my soul and spirit was the chorus, with not one conscious moment of putting word to word to make a rhyme or note to note to make melody. Have you ever heard someone use the expression, I was so overwhelmed that everything else seemed to disappear? Or, I was so taken aback that for just that time I forgot all my troubles? Well, that's what both Trotter and Lemmel were talking about. Look at the face of Jesus, straight at him. Look full-faced at him. And when you do, all else will seem insignificant. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face. And the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. The image of the light of heaven shining on our hearts, changing the way we see things of this world. Everything else dims when it's before God. And life becomes fuller and brighter in the light of His glory and grace. And that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, spread the word. Hymnology, with an IE on the end, is on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and we look forward to joining you again in our next post. God be with you till we meet again.